Sorry. All right, can you hear me now? Am I good?
No sound.
No sound still? Let me see.
This will be fine.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right, good. We're good to go. Hold on one second, because I'm live streaming myself. Because this thing cut out. Okay. All right. All right, I'm with you. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining. It's good to see you guys, or at least see your comments. As I said on Sunday, we want to create as many touch points as possible for us during this time, as we're all kind of hopefully obeying the lockdown rules that our state and local officials have put in place. And so we really need this time each week. We decided during in the middle of the week on Wednesdays. Hopefully everything goes well today, just to be able to hear from one another. There's just a time for us not to be taught necessarily, but just to be able to connect with each other. And so what we're trying to do is each week get a number of our members and attenders to come onto onto this live broadcast and just share with you what their life is like, what they've been doing, how they've been coping, how they haven't been coping, how they've struggled, and hopefully in the midst of that, you guys will be encouraged. I think I know for me, to be honest, this has been a roller coaster in some ways. Just trying to change up my schedule, my life. My routine has changed. Got the kids around a lot. Love them, but they get on my nerves. Every parent can attest to that. Anyways, I'm going to bring Sarah on this call. Sarah is going to be leading a discussion with three or four members. So, Sarah, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Good to see you again.
This is exciting.
Yeah. And so, Sarah, I'm going to hand it off to you, and just to be able to talk to some of our members and see how things are in their life. So thank you for doing this.
Yeah, no problem. So is everybody on the screen now? Oh, okay. I've got my thing. I love technology. I feel like I'm living in the Jetsons right now. It's amazing. We were actually talking about that earlier. So we've got with us Esther, Christina, and Martonius and Courtney. So thanks guys for taking time to be here. So I'm really excited. I missed everybody at church. We were traveling the last Sunday we first met, so it's been even longer since I've gotten to see everyone. So I'm really glad y'all are here. Let's start, since not everybody at the church knows everyone. So because of how it's orientated on my screen right now, Esther, if you'll go first, I just wanted to ask everybody, okay, tell us what your a typical weekday would look like a month ago compared to what it's looking like this week.
All right. So a typical work day for me, there is no really typical work day. Depending on the season, I am traveling a lot. So I can tell you what a weekday would have looked like right now if it wasn't for this quarantine. We were supposed to be traveling across the entire state of Tennessee to every public high school to talk to students about Tennessee Promise so that they could maintain their scholarship eligibility for that program. All of that obviously has been canceled, and so now I am working from home, which is also a bit of a challenge just because I don't have internet in my house. But I did spend all of last week at the Otto's house, and they were kind enough to let me into their home and use their Wi-Fi. This week, I'm just connecting to the hotspot and using all of the data on my work phone. Making it work.
Yeah.
That's where I am.
All right. Martonius and Courtney, would you guys like to go next? What did a typical week a month ago, typical weekday a month ago look like compared to how this week's going?
Yeah.
All right, so starts at about what do you say, 3 a.m., maybe 4 a.m. in the morning with one of the children coming in our bed. But that hasn't changed. But anyway, so like I got to be working at 7 a.m. So it starts for me at like 5:30. Get up, go to work at 7 o'clock, and I'm at work 10 hours a day, and then I'm at home at 5:30. So just like shifting gears, I guess, from that to now to where I'm always here, I guess, has kind of been has been kind of an adjusting deal. If everybody doesn't know, we have 3 children, right? Caden is our oldest, Titus, and then we have Maverick. So with 3 kids in the house. Oh, and by the way, our Courtney's parents are living with us as well. So it's been fun. It's been a struggle. Just trying to keep everybody kind of together, I guess, right? I mean, Courtney, her job now is to keep the kids out of the room that we're in now, while her parents work here and I work in the playroom, and she is kind of dealing with the children in the kitchen for at least 8 hours. So, and they take breaks, right? I mean, I think she started school this week, so that's been fun. But also getting to hear the children kind of do school has been fun for me, I guess. I've been able to, I guess, help more with that, which has been, I guess, it's been nice. And not to mention, I mean, I get to snack more, like all the time. Like I just get up, go to the kitchen, grab what I want, and then walk back to my desk. So I think that's been a positive side. But there's definitely been some struggles. Courtney?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I stay at home, so I normally just get up, take them to school, and I have that time to myself. And so now it's interesting to be with them for 24 hours a day for you don't know how long. And so it's just a struggle, and it's just a change and learning to teach them, which is very difficult. So yeah, that's what our day looks like now, just getting up and doing school and trying to keep them off devices and feed them all day long.
All day long.
Yeah, right. Double up on the snack budget. Were your parents at home during the day before, or is that changed? Like their work that's changed too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
When we left the house, they would usually be at work at like 8 or something like that, and I'm at work at 7. Excuse me. So when we left the house, Courtney had the house to herself to do backflips, and she wanted to. So she threw a party. So, but now we're all here. And it's, just keeping everybody separate in separate rooms has been the challenge. I had to get new internet on Monday because we're pulling so much, I guess, power, if you will. So purchase new internet, and just so we can kind of do things like this. But it's been a fun experience, though. It hasn't been all frowny faces, right? I mean, I guess doing the social distancing thing, it's also opened our eyes up to kind of have a conversation with our children to say, hey, this is why we're doing it. Even though that some, like Caden, our oldest, she may understand, as opposed to Maverick, he may not understand, as our youngest, to know what's going on. But I mean, getting a chance to go out and ride bikes, and I've seen more people at the park in the last, honestly, 3 weeks than I've ever seen in my life. So they are running around, they're having a good time, biking, fishing, you name it, they're out. So I think that's a really good thing that's happening. And I also think it's another way. I think Courtney and I were having a conversation about what we were going to say on the call. We were just saying, like, kind of to Ollie's point last Sunday about God just trying to tell everybody to slow down. I think the world has I mean, everybody's go, go, go. Like, like where everybody's kind of moving in some kind of direction, whether it's forwards, backwards, or whatever. Just no matter what, you're kind of just going. So I think this was another way for him to slow everything down a little bit. Even the kids. I mean, we work for our kids, we live for our children, we do everything for our children, but even them just understanding what it means to be bored. Just be here is it's good. I think it's a good experience. I really do. So I think it's one of those things to where we have to see what's happening and turn it into something good, like doing things like this. Like, I mean, now we're connecting, 2 and 3 times church family. So I think it's really good.
Good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Christina, what did life look like a month ago, and where are you at now?
Yeah, life looks a lot different. A month ago, I was planning 2 big community events for my job. I think the first event we were planning on pulling maybe 200 people in. The second event we were planning on pulling in about 600, 700 people. So I was working with vendors, calling people. And then the other part of my job is like visiting people in their houses, checking in on neighbors. And so now that both of those events are canceled and I'm not supposed to just go over to my neighbor's house, I've been watching a lot of Netflix. And
tell everybody real quick who you work for and what you do.
I work for the Heights Community Development Corporation. My job in particular, I'm the community coordinator, so it's my job to connect people to resources and resources to people. That's the short of it. So I do everything from throwing community parties to one day one of my neighbors wanted to teach me how to can peaches, so we canned peaches one day. Anything in between, I deal with people all day, every day. But now my job, basically, I can't do that. So I've just been thinking, I guess, creatively about how to stay in contact with the people when I can't just be there like normal. So I've sent more emails than normal, made a lot of phone calls. I'm just checking in. Sometimes I don't really like phone calls, so that's been a new adventure, learning how to enjoy talking on the phone. But yeah, so that's been pretty crazy. And then this week in particular, before everything got crazy, my older brother and sister dropped their kids off with my parents. So currently I am with a 10-month-old, a 3-year-old, and a 6-year-old, and waiting for their parents to return any day. I love my niece and nephews, but they're wild. So that's been, I guess, almost like a welcome change to just sitting at my house watching Netflix. Yeah, so it's different, but I'm learning to adjust in the chaos.
Cool. All right. So one of the ways we wanted to use this time was just because everybody probably in our church is going to experience or probably relate to something in one of y'all's experiences. So if you would, Esther, would you share kind of something, if you're willing, something that's either that you found challenging or surprising, or if there's any way like the church body could be encouraging to you, what would that be? Or even just if you found something challenging to share.
Yeah. Also, I think this is true for a lot of people, but just being kind of alone or at home indoors all day is really hard. Even as an introvert, I like my alone time. I need my alone time, but having it all the time is a bit too much. And I had a lot of social things kind of built into my weeks, like going to the climbing gym. I had a small group of friends that would get together for dinner once a week. So all of that is kind of, not happening right now. And I have been encouraged by members of the church who have reached out and checked in just to see how I'm doing, offer bread and toilet paper and things like that. So that's been good. But
that's
just
good community right there.
Yeah.
Let me share my toilet paper with you. It's a new way to
Right.
look at the early church, the way to view the church.
So I appreciate it. I only had one spare roll left, so I guess maybe it will come necessary. Um, but yeah, just like I live by myself, so I don't see anybody unless it's through video chat or talk to anyone. So that's been the hardest for me.
Yeah. Have you been doing much video chatting?
Mostly for work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and family.
All right, thanks. All right, Martonius and Courtney, you've alluded to it a little bit already, but what's one thing that's either, or if you have anything to add on something that's challenging or surprising, or a way that the church can be encouraging to you?
For me, it's just quiet. Like, quiet for me is very crucial, and I obviously don't live in a quiet house, so opposite to Esther, I don't have the silence, and so just learning to take even the little moments of silence, or even just this where my parents have my kids for now, just kind of appreciating the little times you do get that, or all of that. I mean, this is encouraging. Just we've been struggling with church, going to church and getting to church. So this is for us kind of like connecting us back. So it's really extremely encouraging this way.
Good. You want to add anything, Martonius?
And
And no pressure to add anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's right. I mean, it's very encouraging. I mean, we definitely have our struggles with attending church and all that good stuff. So, I mean, like being able to do this is a kind of like a up and up for us. Like, ooh, we got that in, like, all right, that's cool. Or what's this person doing? What's this person doing over here? Or I didn't know what was going on over here. So I think that it's definitely a positive. There's some positives in all the negative things that are going on right now. So, with that being said, I mean, I think she's right. I mean, I'm not used to screaming kids 10 hours a day. I only get it for like if this was a month ago, from 5 o'clock, and we lay them down at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, right? So those hours are the only things that I get, the screaming and all that. And I look forward to that, when I come home. And now it's kind of like, all right, we got to push up bedtime like 7:30. It doesn't happen, but I mean, I'm saying it's just, it's one of those things that you're kind of having to, So who called the police? Who called the police?
Sorry.
You want to say hey?
Sorry.
What's up?
Hey, Maverick.
Uh-oh, somebody
I'm going to mute it.
All right, we'll talk with y'all in a little bit. All right, Christina, challenging, surprising things.
Yeah, so I think the most challenging thing is just feeling like I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't have anything to do. And that's a very hard, just personally, that's a very hard thing for me to deal with. I guess like the feeling of like I feel useless. Like, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? But surprising thing too is just because I have a lot more time to reflect, I can very clearly see how God was even preparing me to like be in the season, which is really cool. Like just in the last few months, I made a commitment to just start slowing down. And I think about like what would have happened if this happened when I was running at my normal crazy pace, and made a abrupt stop. But God laid it on my heart, and Ollie preaching and all of those things of just like, you need to slow down, you need to slow down. And now we're in this season. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really, really glad I decided to slow down earlier. So that's been really cool just to see like, I don't know, like God is in control, and he sees like what's going to happen. He knows that like this whole craziness is going to happen. And so I guess even though like I'm a little discouraged, just like in the, I don't know what I'm doing, sense, I'm also very, encouraged just to know that God has moved already, and like excited to see what God is going to do in the future.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, guys. Well, let me, I was just going to share, I was reading this morning, and I'm in Romans because, when we were doing the community Bible reading journals, I've tried to keep up with it, and I fell behind. But so I was at the beginning of Romans. I'm not crazy behind. And it's just the part in verse 11 where Paul's like, "For I long to see you, that I may impart to you some spiritual gift to strengthen you. That is, that we may be mutually encouraged by each other's faith, both yours and mine." And so, Christina, what you just said was definitely encouraging. And I just wanted to give us an opportunity, if you have some encouragement for the church, not knowing what everyone else is going through, but assuming that someone's probably experiencing something similar to you, what encouragement can you give to the church? Esther, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So this morning in my prayer book, there was a quote that I thought was really beautiful and timely, so I'll just read it. It's by the 20th century Trappist and spiritual writer Thomas Merton. The Christian life, and especially the contemplative life, is a continual discovery of Christ in new and unexpected places. And I would say we are definitely in many new and unexpected places right now. Each day is something different, and we don't really know where it's going. Like Jesus saying, like, don't worry about tomorrow. Like, every day has enough trouble of its own. Like, has felt very real to me. In the last weeks or so. And just taking it day by day, but finding that we can experience Jesus in more meaningful ways or different ways, that where he has been present before, but now we can be made more aware of it because of the unique circumstances.
Thanks, Esther. That's good. All right. And now, before I come over to you, Martonius and Courtney, it just occurred to me, if we're able to comment like we were on Sunday, church, if you guys have encouragement to offer Esther and Christina, Martonius and Courtney, please feel free to drop it in the chat. And I'll take some encouragement. I'm sure Ollie would too. So, you don't have to limit yourselves on that. But yeah, if the church wants to participate, please do. But Martonius and Courtney, what you got? Any further encouragement? It seems like you guys are putting a really, you're turning it to the positive. You're choosing to focus on positive things right now. And so that's encouraging to me as a probably more innately pessimistic person. Do you have anything else you want to offer?
Like I said, so before we decided to do this, we came up with just some things, but Courtney really said something to me that stuck. She said, you have to know that when things like this happen, that you are not in control. And that really hit home to me. And I said, you know what? She's absolutely correct. Like, this is another way of looking at, like, you are not in control. Like, we are not in control of this. We're not in control of the situation, even though we may seem that we are, with the social distancing and the Skype chatting and the Zooming and the schools and none of that matters. We're not in control. So it's another way that it hit us to just kind of home in to, every Sunday that we at least try to listen in or hear anything else like that, like, we're able to take some talking points out. But I've heard, even when we were in the old building, of Ali preaching about control and saying that, that we're not in control, in the overall grand scheme of things. So I think that was really encouraging that Courtney brought that up to me earlier to this morning, actually. So I thought that was something definitely to take to heart. If that's encouraging to anybody, I hope that doesn't freak anybody out that I'm not in control. Because there's some people that love control. So I think we all do that in a gist of, whether it's the video game for me, or whether it's my children, or whether it's this, we want to be in control of something. It makes you feel, like a person. But God is here because we need him, right? I mean, that's what he's here for. We need God, so we need to, and he shows us in ways just like this to say that, hey, you need me, and I want you to know that you need me. So I think it's a good way to step back and look at the grand scheme of things and understand what he's trying to tell us, basically. So I think that's really good. I think that's really good. Gordon?
Yeah, I mean, the control thing for me, I am very much a control freak, so just kind of letting it go. And not letting it go, but just trusting that he has a plan for all of this, and maybe it's to slow everyone down or face them towards him, but just encouraged to take this time to slow down and like look towards him, and even just spending time being more intentional about connection with people, because it's not just forced, it's something you really have to take the time to do, and just encouraging people to do that, whether they want to or not, because for me it's hard. So just encouraged to connect when you can get the chance.
Sounds good. Thanks, Courtney. Thanks, Martonius. Christina, any final encouragement to offer?
Yeah, something that we say in my family, like I grew up in a church family, but like something that we say all the time, and like every time something bad goes wrong, I roll my eyes as my parents say it, but it's just God isn't wasteful, and that at the end of the day, we can always hope and trust and believe that God is going to use all situations for his glory. And COVID-19, quarantine, social distancing, all of it, God is not going to be wasteful with it. God is going to use it for something. We all know. God's going to use the feelings of loneliness or isolation or just going crazy with kids or something for something. And that's just something that we can hope for. So yeah, God isn't wasteful. That's all I got.
That's good word. All right, pop question. And I'm going to say a little something to give you guys just a few minutes to think about it. But I want you to name one thing that you're grateful for. And while you're thinking about that, oh man, Christina, you just said something and it made me think, I'm losing the thought. I'm losing it. Oh, well, I'm thinking about how in the ladies' Bible study over the summer, we were studying the armor of God, and we came across something to do with anxiety. You know, a lot of people are afraid. There's a lot of news that it's easy to spend a lot of time with your nose in Facebook and to feel really anxious about what's happening because we don't know so much about what's going to happen. Or maybe we do know things that are happening and it's scary. And, I just think about how like the commandment more often, right, is fear not. Fear not. God over and over says fear not. But in the Bible study, we were talking about anxiety and what's the cure for anxiety that allows you to experience God's peace. And I can't remember the Bible verse for the life of me. I should have looked it up ahead of time, except I didn't think about this ahead of time. But just that with thankfulness, right? So let's practice some gratitude. And I would love it if the church wanted to add to, y'all are getting some great comments on here. It's a little delayed, but you're getting some loves that's and right on and amens. And so let's make sure we go back and read that because I think that there's some encouragement for you guys there too. So church, send us of everything and we'll hit ours. Esther, what's yours?
All right. So a little weird, but I say I'm grateful for technology, just allowing us to do things like this, stay connected to my family in California. Technology isn't something that I always appreciate a lot, but I've been using it much more, and it has been very helpful.
Absolutely. Not weird at all. All right, Williams.
I'm thankful for time, I guess. Only because, I get time to do this. I get time to work. I get time to spend with my kids. And beforehand, time has always been a thing to juggle. So definitely thankful for the time that I've had over these past 2 weeks of just being here, being really close to this one with my family. So just being able to be here, no matter how stressful it is, because we're going to look back on this and be like, man, we went through that. Like I went and visited my mother the other day. Sorry, I'm off topic now. So we visited my mother the other day, and she was just saying things like, out of her years of living on this earth, and even my grandmother, just, I've never seen anything like this. So the time to experience this, as opposed to what my kids will experience. So time is what I'm really thankful for, that I'm really being here to experience it, whether it's good or bad, right? And just being able to get through it, and having you guys to help us along with that, or having a church body to help us along with that. So it's good.
Courtney.
I guess I would say family, because if I didn't have my family and was sitting here alone, I think it would be hard. And I know I agree with Esther with technology, because if you are alone, that is how you can connect. And so, yeah, my family is I'm very thankful that my parents are actually here, and thankful for all that. But yeah.
All right, Christina.
So I was thinking of something like really deep and spiritual, but really right now I'm just really thankful for memes. Like, humor is like a way that like I cope like with a lot of stuff. And so seeing like social media, the memes have just made this whole situation so much better. So yeah, that's my I'm really thankful for memes right now. Thankful for the internet.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that one as well. Humor is a good thing, folks. If you find yourself starting to get kind of down, it's not a bad thing. So call a funny person or something, or find some memes. My thing to be grateful for, and then I'll shoot it over back to you, Ollie, is it's a two sides to it. I'm grateful to be cooking more, because I'm not a great cook, and it's stressful, but we're kind of forced into it because there's not even bread at the store. So or when we went last time, because if you're not on Facebook, on the community page, the Mosaic community page, please you should look it up. But we were posting on Sunday during church, and John and I shared what our communion table looks like, and John had made grape juice with the garlic press. And yeah, that's all I need to say about that. And then I made communion bread, but it was sad, y'all. So more practice cooking for us is a good thing. Esther, Christina, Martonius, Courtney, thank y'all so much for taking time. To everybody who's watching on YouTube, we love y'all. We miss y'all. Thank you for commenting. We'll make sure to take time to go back and read those later. And we'll send it back over to Ali.
Thank you, Sarah, so much for doing that. Thank you guys for sharing. That was so helpful. I'm sure the whole body's clapping right now on Thanksgiving. I was watching the comments, and exactly what this time is for. It's a time for the body to be able to share their stories and their experiences, because we gain strength through it. And so I really appreciate you guys for sharing that. So we'll do this next week again, 7 p.m. So you'll be at home, most likely. So there's no excuse. But if you're willing to share, it's such a gift to the body just to be able to say, hey, this has been my experience, good or bad. And just like what Sarah was saying, think about the things that you can be grateful for. Think of the ways in which God is using this time, not only to slow things down in your life, but also to teach you some things. What are you listening? What is he trying to say to you? And are your ears open to hear? And even when you're having some bad weeks, some tensions in the house, I think whether you are single and it's just you and you're like, where's people around? But then you have a house full of people and you're just like, I wish I could kick all of them out. Wherever you're at in that, we can all relate in some ways. And so just be encouraged. And so we'll see you again next week. And don't forget, Sunday, 10:30, we'll be doing this live stream again. Kate will be leading worship this time live. And so it's going to be a great time together. We love you guys. if you have any needs, if you have any struggles, if you want, we put on there to email me if you want to share some prayer requests. We can pray for you guys. Please don't hesitate to do so. Also, I just want you to let you know. Remember, we have the COVID-19 Mosaic Support Network team that we put together. And if you have any needs, please don't be ashamed or shy to let me know those needs. Again, my contact is the one for you to reach out to is ali@mosaicmemphis.com. We have resources that we could be able to share with you. And so please reach out. We love you. God bless you. See you next week or see you Sunday.